Alright everyone, it's time for Risky Career Moves 101 with Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace, the swamp creature, he's the one that pretends to be like, oh, I'm the sane voice of what the Republican Party used to be, and Trump is bad. He was one of the orange man bad rhinos that was like, oh no, you're building a border wall, this is racism. Oh no, we want populist economics? Well, that's terrible. You're supposed to be giving corporations back more of their money. Oh, you don't want to go to war with this country? You must be a Russian pawn. He's one of the neocon rhinos, and now he's going to CNN, specifically CNN Plus. It's a streaming, like an on-demand sort of thing that they've designed. Number one, who the fuck in their right mind? Let's say that you're a fucking CNN fan. Why the hell would you pay to watch what you're already seeing anyway? What, you can't get it online? Well, you can't borrow that stream from any other source? Come on, dude. Get fucking real. The number of people that are going to watch CNN Plus because Chris Wallace shows up, I think is a limited number of people. Number two, this reminds me of something. Do you remember Megyn Kelly? You know, you haven't heard of her as much recently, probably. Big name in Fox News. Then she leaves Fox, and she doesn't get what she wants. Apparently, she was mad she wasn't getting enough money. I'm sure Chris Wallace has gotten a raise because of doing this, because this is what networks do. They will try to undercut one another. This gets free airplay for their streaming service, so it's free advertisement. They can pretend that CNN has become more balanced because of the fact that, you know, a Bush Republican is now on the team. Someone who's like, basically imagine a Republican Eric Swalwell, you know, fruitiness and all. Yeah, that's really balanced. What I think will happen now is Chris Wallace, who, you know, he's angling for career prospects mainly. He's pretending that it's about, oh, I have ideals and Fox has left me behind. No. That's not how pundits think. This isn't because of ideals. This is about money or exposure at some level. You're banking on, I guess, the on-demand, the streaming side of news becoming bigger and the cable side of news going into decline, despite the fact that the latter is paired with all the social media influence. Again, Chris Wallace is showing his age if he thinks this is a good idea. It didn't work for Megyn Kelly, who is far more talented than Chris Wallace, and who looks far better for the cameras and doesn't have to slather on the pancake makeup. It looks a little bit like Lindsey Graham some days. I'm sure he'll be one of the first guests that he grills on there like a fucking bobblehead. I don't think that it will work. It's generally not a good idea. When you've got a reasonably commanding position, you know, you're one of the top names at Fox. You're not maybe Tucker Carlson, but you're up there. Some Republicans don't like you because you've completely sold everyone down the river. But the core audience that you do have, they like you a lot. You've got name recognition. People know you as the dude from Fox. You've been there for almost 20 fucking years. So you spent most of your news career at Fox, or a very large proportion. You're leaving them behind to go to a network whose fans viscerally hate Fox. This became a problem for Megyn Kelly too. You're expecting, hey, well, I'm the big shot here. Well, I got this big-ass audience. They'll follow me. Didn't happen. So you go over to, what was it, ABC or NBC, and all of a sudden you tank. You're not the star anymore. You were quite something before because people watch that network. A lot of people at this point, they watch cable especially, and CNN Plus is just an offshoot of a cable network. To be clear, it's still legacy media. It's just an attachment of it. It's a subjugate of it that Chris Wallace is moving to. I don't know, again, the career advice that I would give him is not to do this. Too late. Those people, a lot of them are partisan. Your Fox audience is not going to follow you to CNN. Even if some of those people are like rhinocons and stuff, they will probably stay with Fox News. You're going to a network whose company, the parent company, has spent years ridiculing Fox News as though it was basically a bunch of Nazis. You're coming from Fox. You're the enemy. You're going to this network. This is the way people think. You know, in their screwed up minds. They don't realize all the networks are fundamentally the same anyway. They all get the same the news out there in slightly spun up form. Chris Wallace, I think, is making a career mistake. I think that he will come to regret this for massive monetary purposes. I don't think that you're going to see as much of him as you would. Is some CNN Plus subjugate anchor going to be moderating debates? Maybe that's why, because of his screwing up of the moderation of the Republican debate there. Or was it actually, it was one of the Trump-Biden debates, or Trump-Hillary, sorry. Been a while since he's been relevant, to tell the truth. And he's a swamp creature. This is one of the people that takes the marching orders from the globaloids and tells, like, maybe he just wanted to be able to go to a network where he could help Joe Biden propagandize and spin economic news. He's like, well, Biden's having problems. Maybe if I just throw in and help, people will think that the Bidenomics actually works. They'll start ignoring the inflation numbers because we won't tell them what the inflation is at. Or we'll say, don't worry, it's transitory. Oh, wait, it's not. No, it's actually a good thing. It means wages are rising. That's the sort of Republican that Chris Wallace is. He represents an outdated, elderly view within the Republican Party that you need to be a coward party, number one, an inept party, number two. You have to be pathetic. Number three, a party that apologizes constantly for everything anytime someone insults it mildly. And number four, a party that has a bunch of crooked warmongers and basically is the same as the Democrats on many issues. Well, now you have a divergence, and people like Chris Wallace don't like it because they don't really fit in anymore with the GOP, so now they're going to CNN and shit. Well, good riddance. Nobody wants to watch you. The Fox News audience is not becoming extreme because it's adopting a Reaganite-style policy view, the Reagan before he got demented. Since the latter second term of Ronald Reagan, the Republicans have become a jingoistic party, a pro-high tax party. They no longer fight for the working and middle class. The only tax breaks they ever cared about were for corporations. A party that apologizes constantly and gets bogged down by moral issues, like gay rights and things like that. Now you see a Republican Party that has left some of the moralism behind, has become actually pro-gun for the first time in a long time, even more so than Reagan, which is good, criticizes corporations, is critical of the legacy media. That's good. This isn't a bad thing. It's not an attack on the press. It's an attempt to actually have some degree of real journalism in the country. And Chris Wallace can't cut it. He's not a real journalist. And keep in mind, Fox is only marginally better than these other legacy media networks. They are still a multi-billion-dollar globaloid corporation. It is their parent company. They take the same goddamn marching orders. They just have marginally more sense in the analysis of it because you have to, of necessity, have at least one network to cater to the ideology of the fringe. Well, the fringe is huge. It's those people that actually represent the wishes and the needs of the middle class, of the working class. It's not the Democrats. Other than a handful of unions, and they don't even like all of those, they don't represent or speak for any working class American. They speak for bankers and billionaires. Well, somebody's got to speak for the other people in society, and some legacy media network has to at least pretend to speak for that consensus. The populist consensus, which encompasses half the fucking population. Technically speaking, if people were voting their self-interest, about 80% of people would be populistic. It would be everyone other than maybe the bottom 15% and maybe the top 5%. Literally everyone else in society has no reason not to support populism. No reason to support open borders. No reason to support defund the police. No reason to support more gun control. No reason to support more taxes. No reason to support another war. The rich get rich off war. The poor get, a college write-off if they don't get shot in a foxhole somewhere. Everyone else, why would you want to? It's like they're trying to start a war in Ukraine now at this point. That's about all. Peace out.